Every single day you're just wading through this constant flood of information. Articles, news, social media. It's a lot, and we're all trying to cut through that noise, right? To figure out what actually matters. But what if the really powerful stuff, the insights that can genuinely shape your life, aren't out there, but actually right inside your own head?
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we are plunging into a really profound and honestly incredibly influential little book, James Allen's As a Man Thinketh. It really is timeless, and Allen himself, he described it beautifully. He said it wasn't supposed to be some exhaustive treatise, or like suggested. Something to nudge us, the readers, to discover this fundamental truth about ourselves. The core message is right there in the foreword. They themselves are makers of themselves by virtue of the thoughts which they choose and encourage. It's really an invitation, isn't it?
A powerful one. And yeah, our mission for this deep dive is exactly that, to unpack what Allen really meant by that radical idea, that our thoughts are the master weavers of, well, everything. Our character, our circumstances. What does that actually mean for you? Let's get into it. Okay, so Allen kicks things off with that central aphorism, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. It sounds almost poetic, simple even, but what's the deeper implication there for who we are?
Oh, it's absolutely foundational for him. Allen basically says your character isn't just, a list of traits. It's the complete sum of all his thoughts, everything. And he goes further. Every single act, even the ones that feel totally spontaneous, like out of nowhere. He argues they spring from these hidden seeds of thought. There's this direct link he draws. Act is the blossom of thought, and joy and suffering are its fruits, cause and effect. He insists this is just as absolute, just as undeviating in the hidden world of thought as it is in the physical world we see. It's like a law of nature for him.
So not just the big planned actions, but everything. Our whole essence, really. That's a massive idea. He even says man is made or unmade by himself, and describes thoughts as forging weapons for self-destruction, or tools to build these heavenly mansions of joy and peace. It sounds like we have this incredible, almost kind of scary power.
Exactly. Scary perhaps, but also incredibly liberating. The responsibility is entirely ours. Allen sees us as the master of thought, the molder of character, and maker and shaper of condition, environment, and destiny. But here's the crucial bit. We're always the master, even when things are falling apart. But in that state, we're just the foolish master who misgoverns his household. Becoming a wise master, that takes work, self-reflection, application, really digging deep into what he calls the mine of his soul to find these laws of thought within yourself.
Right, so it's not just some philosophical concept. It's very direct, very personal for you, the listener. It's a call to active self-governance, saying you hold the key. You contain within himself that transforming and regenerative agency by which he may make himself what he wills. You have this power to reshape yourself. Empowering, definitely, but yeah, maybe a little daunting too when you think about it. Okay, so thoughts shaping character, fine. But then Allen makes this even bolder claim, doesn't he? That thoughts influence our external world, our circumstances. How does he connect those dots? He uses that great analogy, the mind as a garden.
Yes, the garden analogy is perfect here. It illustrates it so well, just like a gardener. You have to actively tend the plot. You're weeding out all the wrong, useless, and impure thoughts, and cultivating toward perfection the flowers and fruits of right, useful, and pure thoughts. He states it flat out. Thought and character are one. And because character can only really show up, only manifest through environment and circumstance, it follows that the outer conditions of a person's life will always be found to be harmoniously related to his inner state. Your outer world mirrors your inner landscape. It's a really profound connection.
And he pushes it even further, that startling claim that every man is where he is by the law of his being, no chance involved, none at all. He gives those examples, right? The poor man shirking work, the rich man trapped by gluttony, the bankrupt employer using crooked methods. In every case, the external situation, the circumstance, it stems directly from the internal thoughts. No accidents.
But there's a really important nuance here, and Allen points that out himself. He says, a man's entire soul condition cannot be judged by another from the external aspect of his life alone. So you might see someone struggling financially who seems honest, or someone getting rich who seems less than honest. That's because there are other things going on inside, maybe hidden virtues or vices. But the core principle holds. Suffering, for Allen, is always the effect of wrong thought in some direction. And it actually serves a purpose, to purify. Ultimately, it's not about stuff, not material wealth. Blessedness, he says, is the measure of right thought.
Okay, interesting. So if thoughts shape circumstances, what about our actual bodies, our physical health? Allen suggests a direct link there too. The body is the servant of the mind.
He really does. He explains how sickly thoughts will express themselves through a sickly body. It's quite literal for him. Think about his examples. Thoughts of fear can actually kill someone. Anxiety demoralizes the whole system. Impure thoughts, even if you don't act on them, can shatter your nerves. But the flip side is also true. Strong, pure, and happy thoughts build up the body in vigor and grace. He paints that picture of the 96-year-old woman with the face of a girl because she had a sweet and sunny disposition, and contrasts her with a younger man whose face shows the lines of passion and discontent. It's a very direct mind-body link.
It really is a direct challenge, isn't it? He basically tells you, if you would perfect your body, guard your mind. If you would renew your body, beautify your mind. So just like the garden of your circumstances, you're also the gardener for your body. And the cultivation tool is your mind.
All right, so we've got this inner power.
Yeah.
How does Alan connect this to actually achieving things, getting stuff done, living with purpose? He's very clear. Until thought is linked with purpose, there is no intelligent accomplishment. Exactly. He actually calls aimlessness a vice, something that drains your energy. Having that central purpose, it focuses your thought forces, gives them direction. And he's quite realistic about the path. He says even repeated failure on the way to that purpose, well, it's not really failure, it builds strength of character. And that strength becomes the true measure of success, a new launch pad. He has this incredibly hopeful line: the weakest soul will at once begin to exert itself, and will at last grow divinely strong. Just keep adding effort, patience, strength.
And a big part of that, he stresses, is getting rid of doubts and fears. He doesn't mince words, calls them disintegrating elements that break your focus, your effort. They're not just feelings, they're saboteurs.
Absolutely. And here's where it gets really powerful. Thought allied fearlessly to purpose becomes creative force. He says whoever gets this is ready to be more than just a bundle of wavering thoughts. They become the conscious and intelligent wielder of his mental powers. It's about taking the reins, consciously directing that inner energy. Your thoughts, focused, become genuinely creative.
Which leads right into achievement itself. Alan's line: all that a man achieves and all that he fails to achieve is the direct result of his own thoughts. Period. He talks about needing to make a sacrifice for success. What does he mean by that, practically speaking?
Well, he clarifies that worldly success will be in the measure that he sacrifices his confused animal thoughts and fixes his mind on the development of his plans. So it's not about giving up everything enjoyable. It's about sacrificing the scattered, undisciplined, sort of base-level thoughts, the mental clutter, and instead focusing your mind, really concentrating on your goals, your plans. And the amazing thing he points out is that this applies everywhere. All achievements, business, intellectual, spiritual, they all follow the same law, the same method of directed thought. The only difference is the goal itself.
Then he moves into visions and ideals, that amazing line: the dreamers are the saviors of the world. How does that internal vision play out?
He says if you cherish a beautiful vision, a lofty ideal in his heart, you will one day realize it. It's inevitable. He gives examples. Columbus dreaming of another world, Copernicus seeing a bigger universe, Buddha envisioning spiritual peace. Dreams, he says simply, are the seedlings of realities. It starts inside. And he tells that story, the poor, unschooled youth who just keeps dreaming of better things, keeps working on his mind. That inner vision changes him, changes his life, and eventually becomes this master of certain forces of the mind with huge influence. It all started with the dream.
It's such a direct message to you, the listener, isn't it? Alan promises, you will always gravitate toward that which you secretly most love. Into your hands will be placed the exact results of your own thoughts. You will receive that which you earn, no more, no less. He says basically, wherever you are now, you'll fall, stay put, or rise based entirely on your thoughts, your vision, your ideal. And he hammers it home. The strength of the effort is the measure of the result. Chance is not. No luck involved. So this journey of thought mastery culminates in what Alan calls the highest state, serenity. What exactly is that? How do we get there?
He describes calmness, serenity, as one of the beautiful jewels of wisdom. It's not accidental, it's earned. It's the result of long and patient effort and self-control. Its very presence shows maturity, experience, a deep understanding of how your own thoughts work. You achieve this calm in the measure that he understands himself as a thought-evolved being. And understanding yourself leads to understanding others. That results in this poised, steadfast, serene state, no matter what's swirling around you.
And he talks about real-world benefits, too, not just inner peace, right? He says serenity leads to greater success, his influence, his power for good, even his example of the ordinary trader, their business improves just by becoming calmer, more self-controlled, because people trust and prefer dealing with someone steady.
Yeah, the imagery he uses is so good. A calm person is like a shade-giving tree in a thirsty land, or a sheltering rock in a storm. Imagine being that presence for others. He contrasts this beautiful poise of character with people who ruin all that is sweet and beautiful by explosive tempers or are just constantly blown about by anxiety and doubt. It really makes the case for doing that inner work.
And Alan really lands it with that powerful closing metaphor, doesn't he? Keep your hand firmly upon the helm of thought. In the bark of your soul reclines the commanding master. He does but sleep, wake him. Wow.
It's such a potent call to action, isn't it?
Yeah.
A reminder that the real power, the master, is already inside you, just waiting to be awakened and put in charge. He boils it down to those core principles. Self-control is strength. Right thought is mastery. Calmness is power. It brings everything back to how you can apply these ideas right now.
So this deep dive into As a Man Thinketh really highlights the just immense power of our thoughts, often unconscious power maybe. They're not just passing notions. According to Alan, they are the actual architects building our character, our health, our circumstances, our achievements, and yeah, ultimately our sense of peace.
That's a huge reminder. That line, a man cannot directly choose his circumstances, but he can choose his thoughts, and so indirectly, yet surely, shape his circumstances.
Yeah.
That indirect route mastering your own mind, that's where the real leverage, the real transformation lies.
So here's something to maybe sit with after this. If your outer world truly reflects your inner thoughts, as Alan suggests, what single thought, if you really consistently, fearlessly cultivated it with purpose, what thought could most transform your current reality? Something to think about. We definitely encourage you to revisit these ideas, maybe pick up the book itself, and start your own deep dive into mastering your thoughts.